She thought it was the end. A broken leg, shattered ribs, no way to call for help, alone at the bottom of a cliff, deep in the wilds of Black Pine Ridge. The cold was biting. Her breath came in short, painful gasps in the silence, so heavy, felt like it was pressing down on her chest. Then a sound, faint at first, like distant thunder rolling across the land. She lifted her head, pain shooting through her body, and through the thinning mist he appeared. A wild stallion, chestnut coat, glowing in the dawn light, a bold white stripe down his face, one white sock on his front leg. He wasn't supposed to come. Wild horses run from humans, not toward them. But he did. And what he did next, no one could have believed unless they saw it with their own eyes. Let me tell you the story of Lena, the ranger who gave her life to the land, and the horse, Spirit, who gave her life back. Lena had spent nearly 20 years walking these trails, protecting the valleys, the rivers, the herds. She wasn't married, didn't have children, but she had something deeper, purpose. The mountains were her home, the silence her comfort, and the wild mustangs, they were her family. Every morning, she'd rise before the sun, pack her camera, binoculars, and her worn notebook, and head out to watch the herd. She wasn't just admiring them, she was gathering proof. Because in 2 weeks, the county council would decide the fate of Black Pine Ridge. A developer, Grant Holloway, wanted to turn it into a luxury resort. Villas, golf courses, tourist stables, wasted land, he called it. Time to make it useful. But Lena knew the truth. This wasn't wasted land. It was home to foxes, eagles, deer, and to a herd of wild mustangs who had roamed here for generations. That morning, she needed one perfect photo, something that showed the whole herd together, led by their strong stallion, Spirit. From the top of Eagle's Bluff, she could see everything, so she began to climb. The trail was steep, loose gravel underfoot, wind tugging at her jacket. She climbed carefully, but the higher she got, the more the rock beneath her shifted. Cracks, tiny at first, then spreading like spiderwebs. She paused, heart pounding, turned back, but she was so close. Just a few more steps. Then crack. The ground gave way. She screamed once before the world spun. Her camera flew from her hands. She tumbled, slammed into the rock, shoulder, hip, ribs, each impact a burst of fire. Then snap, her leg broke, and everything went black. When she woke, it was dark, cold, pain everywhere. She reached for her radio, crushed under a rock. No signal, no help. She tried to call out, help, but her voice was weak, swallowed by the canyon. Above, ravens circled, waiting. She closed her eyes, tears freezing on her cheeks. No one knows I'm here. I'm going to die alone. Then a low growl. 3 wolves emerged from the shadows, yellow eyes glowing in the moonlight. They fanned out, slow, patient, death walking on silent paws. Lena grabbed a rock, small, jagged, useless. She raised it, hand shaking. Stay back, she whispered. The lead wolf lunged. And then thunder. Hooves. Not one, but many. A storm of sound. The wolves froze. And from the trees, Spirit, he charged, like fire given legs, mane flying, muscles rippling. He rear screamed, a sound so fierce it shook the canyon walls. Then wham! His hoof struck the lead wolf, sending it flying. The others backed off, growled, then vanished into the night. Silence returned, and Spirit didn't leave. He walked to her, slowly, carefully, lowered his head, sniffed her blood, her sweat, her fear. Then he did something no wild horse ever does. He lay down, right beside her, not touching at first, but close enough that his body blocked the wind, close enough that his warmth seeped into her frozen skin. Lena wept, not from pain, but from wonder. She remembered years ago she'd found Spirit trapped in a poacher's snare. His leg was bleeding. He was terrified, but she stayed calm, spoke softly, cut him free. And when he ran, he turned, looked at her just for a second. She never thought he'd remember, but he did. All night he stayed. When she drifted into unconsciousness, he nudged her with his nose. When the cold bit deep, he shifted. shielding her. He was her protector, her warmth, her hope. At dawn he stood, then kneeled, inviting. Lena sobbed, "I can't, my leg, my ribs." But Spirit waited, steady, calm. So she tried. Every movement was agony. She crawled, dragged herself, grabbed his mane, pulled. Pain exploded. She screamed, nearly fell. But Spirit didn't move. Again and again. On the third try, she made it, collapsed across his back, arms locked in his mane. Spirit rose, slowly, carefully, bearing her weight like it was nothing. And then he walked, through rocky trails along narrow ledges, stopping when she slipped, shaking his mane to keep her awake. He led her to water, let her drink, then carried her onward. By late afternoon, voices. "Lena, can you hear us?" Her team arrived. She slipped from Spirit's back into their arms. As they lifted her onto the stretcher, she turned. Spirit stood at the edge of the trees. He looked at her one last time, then gone. At the hospital, no one believed her. "A wild horse saved you." Must have been the pain, the shock. But the sheriff checked the site. Hoofprints, chestnut hairs, blood on the rocks, hers. The trail led all the way to where she was found. It was real. And then proof came again. A rancher called. "There's a Mustang trapped in a snare. Chestnut. White blaze, looks just like the one you described." Lena didn't wait. Against doctor's orders, she went. And there he was. Spirit, bleeding, struggling. She crawled to him, same way as before. "Ease, it's me. I'm here." She cut the trap, and when it sprang open, Spirit didn't run. He stepped forward and gently touched her shoulder with his muzzle. No words, no fanfare, just gratitude. Later, at the council hearing, Lena stood on crutches. She showed photos, shared the audio of the developer's assistant offering her silence for money. Sheriff showed the hoof prints. Sophie, her niece, played the video of Spirit leading the herd through fire just weeks later. The room fell silent. Then applause. The council voted. Black Pine Ridge would be protected, named the Spirit Mustang Sanctuary. Years passed. The herd thrived. Lena still walks the trails, slower now, but with peace in her heart. One autumn evening, she stood on the viewing deck. The sun painted the valley gold, and there on the ridge stood Spirit, older now, gray around the eyes. He looked at her, lifted his head, and called. Not a warning, not a challenge, just hello. Then he turned and walked into the long grass, into the life he'd fought for, into the freedom he'd earned. And Lena smiled, because some bonds aren't made of rope or words. They're made of courage, memory, and a quiet understanding between two souls who saved each other. True connection isn't built on control, but on trust, courage, and the unspoken promise. I remember you. I will not leave you. If this story touched your heart, please share it. Tell someone who needs to believe in miracles. Like, comment, and subscribe. Because stories like this remind us that kindness, even from a wild horse, can change the world. And who knows, maybe the next miracle is just around the corner, waiting to be believed.